This is Andrea. Welcome to Facebook Live of Declare's Delight for Life. Hi, I'm the Sensible Lady and the CEO and co-founder of Declare's Delight for Life. I put the sensible and help you declutter the clutter in your life. Well, today, if anything I could say, has been rather a cluttery day. I've been dealing with, things from other people's mistakes, and I have to be honest with you. I actually had to go to court. Never been in court before in my life, and it was rather an interesting experience. But the whole thing about it is it's been decluttered and it's gone, and I can move on with things. And it's, boy, if you don't watch it out there, and for those who I definitely would like to bring to your attention, make sure you protect your identity and protect it well, because there's a lot of folks out there that will use your identity and definitely can cause you problems, all sorts of problems, because folks get your identity and do all sorts of strange things, and it can get you in situations where you never want to even think about being, especially like for me today. And I'm just giving you a word of caution as far as rather a cluttery situation, because we do live in an era when people take other people's identity, their social security numbers. They even go through old death records and look for dead people who have passed IDs and create new to establish things. I guess what I'm trying to say to you is I'm just giving you a word of caution from personal experience today, because one thing I do know is you've got to protect these things close to your heart, because life is way too short. And yeah, I'm going to talk about how to organize your week, but I'm also going to kind of let you know what's been going on in my day. But the good thing about it is, things are going to be fine, and I got through the day and made it through, and but the whole thing is it sure takes up a lot of time, and and you just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other and do what you got to do, and take care of business. And that's one thing I am learning, is that to make situations less cluttery, you deal with them immediately. When you deal with situations immediately, they become less cluttery. And in dealing with situations immediately, whether it be a house refinance, or something shows up on your credit report, or how could I say it, something shows up in your life that you have to deal with your health wise, the sooner you get to something, the better off you are. Because sometimes if we delay in doing things, believe me from experience, that if you delay something, sometimes the problem just gets worse. And yeah, there are times to delay decisions, but for the most part, a lot of things in life that we need to take care of quickly, so that they are much easier to take care of. And you know because having dealt with folks with cancer and all sorts of things, is that when you catch things early, it the problem is not as big, and you're able to declutter it much easier. I know for myself, you know lately I've really been decluttering a lot of stuff in my life, and really been thinking about okay, you know but the whole thing about it is that I've just opened myself to more abundance, and I've got more abundance coming because of smart decisions. Because you know when you clear your head of garbage and things that weigh you down, you do clear up your mind, you clear up your thinking, you allow yourself to be able to do things and be more organized and be able to get things done in life. If you think about a week, 7 days, there are 7 days in a week. and each day is different. Sometimes we may do the same things each morning, as I call it rituals. Rituals are things that we do each morning, that if we do things appropriately, we could come up with rituals each morning that are helpful. Like for me, some of my rituals in the morning are, meditation, journaling, prayer, simple exercise. These are things I do to take care of my mind, body, and spirit, and my health. And also, talking with other folks. And, that's kind of my morning ritual. And, kind of eating, at regular times because I'm diabetic, and taking care of myself, and and coming to you each night at a regular time. That's part of my rituals too, and because you are a part of my life. Or even throughout the day, when I put together a schedule, for what I do, there are certain things I do throughout the day. I check email, and a lot of us do these different things, each day. you know that's part of our week. If we choose to have our life a little more structured, and things like that, that makes for a much better week. If we kind of structure what we are going to do, because one of the ways I do find that you avoid chaos is having some strife. A lot of times who go through this in life have sometimes dealt with unstructure, and not availability, or something happens in life and we feel like we've been blown out of the water. But the one thing is, sometimes if you got certain anchors, as I would call them, that you do each and every day, that helps when you come up against things that would normally push you out. You have those anchors in order to deal with life's issues better. So if you think about it, think of rituals that you can do that are positive each day. And you could, at the beginning and maybe the end of the day, think of those, throughout the week. And then have those as anchors throughout your week. That kind of starts you having a more structured week. And then as you plan each day, depending on what kind of way you want to plan, that's up to each individual. But I like to keep it real simple, like the plan in the morning, stuff I do in the morning and prioritize it, and stuff in the afternoon I have to do and prioritize it. And I have a place where I keep my notes. One thing I do find is that with anything that you do, the simpler that you do it, the better chance are that you will do it for the long term. To me, if you can't carry it on for the long term, I find that if you have a system or you buy something or whatever, it's a waste of money. And you don't want to waste your money, because some of that stuff is hundreds of dollars, or you take week-long courses. You know, I guess for me, I want something that's simple, that's not expensive, that allows you, freedom and flexibility. And I usually find, that is much easier. A date book, I like to use Google Calendar. I find those all very much assistive, because what I like about calendar is simple, and I can block flexible and matches and things across my electronics. So I have consistency. That's another point in having a decluttered and organized week, is consistency throughout your weekly schedule about what you do. If you think about it, I know for myself, consistency in my life is very important to me, because when I have consistency, I think clearly, I can get a lot done. My life is much more, open. And I have a lot more possibilities and opportunities. And I know you guys can have a lot more opportunities and possibilities. And and then, if you some of what I've talked about as far as an organized and decluttered week is that, you know, you have to also allow time for fun. I definitely would include that time for fun and learning, things that enrich your mind. That's important too to include in your weekly schedule because, by having that kind of thing, by enriching your mind and your thoughts. I know for myself, when I read a good book or listen to some good stuff in my headphones, it really enriches my mind and makes me feel good. And it boils over into several other areas of my life. And and thinking about all that positive energy really, makes life simpler. And as I start planning on Sunday through Saturday of each week, and then what happens, and I usually have one day of rest. I allow for myself in that time because one thing I do realize is that you need to schedule self-care within that weekly schedule. Maybe a little bit of each day. Maybe block out some time because it allows you and your physical and your spiritual health in balance. And that's a biggie. And and to think about all the rest of, thinking about my life today is that because I'm able to think and I'm not, all over the map because I have some sense of where I'm going, then, life is not messy. Life can be very messy, but we do have choices. We have choices over what we want to do in life. And, we have choices on how we want to spend our week or how we want to do our week. And I know I've provided lots of suggestions. But if I was to boil this all down to, anything, is that one, keep it simple. Keep it simple, sweetie, as I like to call it. Two, think about, what you could establish as rituals, things that you could do each day that would act as anchors in your life, anchors that, would, ground you each day. And then three, I would think about, what would work for you as far as having a weekly schedule. What would be best for you to think of as having, a schedule that's simple and that's something you'll do for the long term. So, with that, I will leave you with that. And the only one thing is, I'm going to go out and have a nice dinner with my significant other and have some fun for myself and take care of myself. And I wish you all, guys, a great night. Have blessings and peace and tranquility and hope and love. And let there be a light in your eyes. And I love you all.